Hey, this is Victor with Southern Keto, and this is Keto in the Car. Today I want to talk about how to start your keto diet for New Year's. And I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to do to make sure it's successful. There's a lot of mysteries surrounding keto. There's a lot of misconceptions. And if you start this journey, I want to make sure that you're successful. The new year is a time that you can make a lot of changes. You can set new goals for the year. You can set new habits to improve your life. But the first thing you got to do is you got to change your mind. If you don't have a strong enough why you want to do it, you're not going to stick to it. There's a switch that has to flip in your mind at some point, and you have to just get sick and tired of being sick and tired. You got to be tired of getting up in the morning, walking down the stairs, and feeling like you're 95 years old and all your joints are about to fall apart. You got to be tired of not being able to fit in the same pants that you were in a year ago or even a month ago. You got to be sick and tired of your blood pressure being at a level where you're going to die early, not get to see your grandkids or your kids grow up, not get to have the health that you deserve to have. We all have a right to have good health. It's just a lot of us don't know how. If you were like me growing up in school, they taught you the food pyramid was the way to do it, where you have mostly 3/4 of your plate full of carbs. You have a tiny little bit of meat, and you eat low fat or no fat. How's that working? Ever since the food pyramid has come out, people are getting fatter and fatter and unhealthier by the year. So it's not working out. If you take the food pyramid and flip it upside down, that's about the closest thing to the way you should be eating that you can find. And even that is not quite right. You got to change your mind about what keto is and realize that you're not going to be starving. You're not going to have to deprive yourself of foods that you like. Maybe if you have some serious health conditions, you may need to tighten it up a little bit until those conditions improve. And saying that, I am not a healthcare professional, so please understand that. I'm just a regular guy that has spent a lot of my life helping people through diet, personal training, and by using myself as a guinea pig and trying out all these things till I know what worked. And now I try to make the keto diet easy by coming up with recipes where you can eat a lot of the foods that you've always enjoyed, but just keto and healthier. So you don't have to deprive yourself of everything. You just got to change some of the things and some of the ingredients that you use to make these dishes that you enjoy. And that's what my channel is here for. I'm doing these keto in the car because I want to talk about things that hopefully motivate you. If you're kind of on the fence about starting keto, I want you to know that you can do it if you put your mind to it. But that's what this mindset thing is all about. Nobody can do this for you. You got to do this for yourself. And your reason for doing it, your why, has to be big enough. If your why is, I need to lose 5 pounds, why do you need to lose 5 pounds? Yeah, just so I can look. That's not going to work. If your why is, I need to lose 5 pounds because that's going to get me down to the weight that I feel good at, that allows me to do the things that I need to do, then you're probably going to stick with it. In most cases, it's more like 50 pounds. In my case, it was 75 pounds and having blood pressure through the roof to where I was going to die 20 years early. If that doesn't motivate you, I don't know what will. So if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, this is probably going to work for you. And you're going to be able to stick with it and make it a lifestyle, because it can be. Because you can still eat the foods that you love to eat and be on keto, hit your goals, lose the weight you want to lose, and reverse the health conditions that you want to reverse. You can do it. And my channel is here to help you do it. But you got to want to do it bad enough to where you can resist some things because you want to. when you're not scared if somebody comes up to you with a huge piece of cake to say, hey, you know, I'm allergic to sugar. You know what happens when I eat sugar? My allergies flare up and I gain 50 pounds. When you can say no, then you're there. And it shouldn't be that hard, because like, what do kids do? You tell them to do something, no. So like from the earliest age, no is like something so easy to say until it's not. And when you can't say no anymore, it shows up. The number one way to health and the first step to health starts in the kitchen. So now that you've made your mind up that you're going to do it and you can stick to it, then what? What things do you need to get rid of to start on the keto diet? Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you got to go and throw all this stuff away. Donate your pastas, donate all your carb-filled foods, or slowly work your way out of them. A lot of people need to start a little bit slower and start replacing a few meals a week with like some of my recipes, let's say. Instead of that macaroni and cheese that you eat every week or 5 times a week, replace it with my low carb mac and cheese. Instead of going to Olive Garden and eating that chicken Alfredo, make my version. You may need to start slow. I hope you can just jump right into it with both feet and just replace all that stuff. But you got to get rid of the sugar. If you look on the package, you'll see that the rice, the pastas, the breads, all that's just as bad as the sugars, because it is sugars. What happens in your body when you eat that stuff and can't burn it is it turns to sugar, which turns to fat. And you can't burn it fast enough. So when you start keto and you start replacing all those sugars and those starches with mostly healthy fats and proteins, then your body naturally either burns dietary fat that you're eating, or it taps into your body's fat supply and your body's fat storage for energy. You need to get rid of all the processed foods that you have, all that stuff in the can with the ingredients you can't pronounce. That's the stuff you don't want to eat anymore. Keto is about eating clean, wholesome ingredients, meats, fats. Good news, you can have some bacon grease now without having to worry about it once you switch over and you start getting into ketosis, to where your body is burning the fat for fuel. And the fat's going to keep you full. So you don't have to worry about being hungry on the keto diet like you do when you're eating a bunch of carbs. Like if you go into a Chinese restaurant, you can eat until you are stuffed, and an hour later you're ready to eat again. That's the carbs talking. That's the insulin spike. That's the blood sugar drop. That's what happens when you eat carbs. It doesn't happen when you're eating a lot of fat and protein. And the processed foods, most of them have very low fat. When you have very low fat, you don't stay full that long. That fat's really going to help you stay full. But the top 3 things that you want to get rid of is anything with sugar. Look at the carbs on the label. Most people to do keto, what I would recommend to start with is stay under 20 grams of carbs a day. Some people are okay up to 50. And if you need that, especially in the beginning, to stay on it until you get more and more adapted and your body is burning its own fat the way it needs to, and your body's healing itself using the protein to heal your cells. Try to stay under 20 a day. And you can take any of my recipes. The reason I don't put the carbs, and I've been asked this question a couple times, I don't put the carb count on my recipe, because if you want to find out what they are, go into like Carb Manager, or there's a few carb counting apps and put in the recipe using the ingredients that you use. Because I don't want anybody to think that something has 20 grams in it the way I make it, and then the way you make it, it may have 40 because of the ingredients you're using. So get one of those apps, Carb Manager. There's another one, I can't think of the name of it, but that's the one I use. But I'll remember to put it on the screen what the name of the other app is later on when I edit this. But put that in there and just try to stay under 20 a day if you can. 50 is the bare minimum, and you may need to do that in the beginning. I don't know, you know, everybody's different, and that's one thing. I'm trying to provide as much knowledge as I can, but you've got to customize it to fit you and what you can do. Some people can jump right into eating carnivore. You can eat nothing but beef and salt. I can't do that, and I don't think most people can. If you can, then do carnivore for a little while if you want to. I like more variety than that. I like having the foods that I like, and so I don't do carnivore. Now I might have a week where I do beef, butter, bacon, eggs, shrimp, chicken, but I don't do a strict carnivore diet ever. Some people do. Some people like it, and if you got some serious medical conditions, you may need to do that. But my recommendation is just a good, solid, healthy, ketogenic diet. So get rid of your fruits, your bagels, your breads, your rice, your pasta. Basically starches, grains, and anything with sugar in it. And just watch those carbs. Now you don't have to count carbs. I'm not saying that at all. So let's get into that. The third thing that you need to do is change up your food. I got to run into the post office real quick, so I'm going to get into that in just a second. So, what are the best things to eat on the ketogenic diet? A lot of people believe that you're eating a ton of meat. And you do eat a lot of meat. But basically what the keto diet is a higher fat, moderate protein, and really low carb diet. So you want to eat fattier cuts of meat. Like if you do a steak, don't do a filet, do a New York strip. Do a sirloin. Do the higher fat ones. When you eat a hamburger, do the ground chuck that's 80-20 or 70-30. Because you want that fat. Like I said, that fat will help keep you full between meals. Because what you don't want to do is snack in between meals. Anytime you eat, it spikes your insulin because your blood sugar is raised, so that insulin tries to get the blood sugar out of your system. And so you do not want to snack in between meals. Now I'd recommend starting out with 3 meals a day, if that's what you're used to. If you're not used to eating breakfast, don't eat breakfast. Because what you want to do to turbocharge the keto diet is mix in some intermittent fasting with it. That just takes it to a whole nother level. And the best way to do that is if you're eating 3 meals a day, then push that breakfast out about a half hour. If you're used to eating at 8 o'clock, then eat at 8 o'clock for a few days, and then go to 8:30, then go to 9. And before you know it, you're going to be where you're not even hungry for breakfast, and you're going to start eating at noon. And then once you can work down to either 2 meals a day in a 6 to 8 hour window, or what I did for a long time, and a lot of times I still do to this day, is 1 meal a day. And so my eating window will be an hour, maybe 2 hours if I eat something a little bit after, because I'm still a little bit hungry. But ideally what you want to end up doing is getting down to a 6 to 8 hour window where you're eating. And it sounds a whole lot harder than it actually is. And a lot of people that I know that I've helped with keto said there is absolutely no way I can't go without eating 3 meals a day. But the thing is, once you give up eating carbs at night, you're not as hungry the next morning. And so if you stay under that 50 or ideally 20 grams of carbs a day, you're going to find that you're not hungry. And what you want to do is eat when you're hungry and eat until you're full. So as long as you make sure you're doing under 20 carbs a day, eat as much fatty meat and low carb vegetables as you want. And by low carb vegetables, I mean like what I did for a long time was spring mix. I would eat a huge bowl of spring mix, and I would make my blue cheese dressing, and I'll leave a link to that if you haven't tried it. And I throw a couple tomatoes on there, or just Google low carb vegetables. There's a lot of them you can have, but that was the main thing that I liked. And pretty much any of the vegetables in my videos are low carb vegetables. Well, in fact, all of them. I don't use any vegetables that aren't low carb. But your broccolis, your cauliflowers, greens, green beans, all those things are low carb. Asparagus. And I've got a lot of recipes that you can check out for keto side dishes that'll use those kind of vegetables. So just eat the meat until you're full. Eat the vegetables and side dishes until you're full. And don't eat between meals. And you may need to do some fat bombs or things like that. I've got a couple of my fat bomb recipes coming out, but until mine come up, make some fat bombs. If you're used to eating desserts, fat bombs are great. I mean, they taste every bit as good. They satisfy that sweet tooth, but you're using, my favorite is Magic Baker's blend, which is a combination of erythritol and stevia and allulose. And it's a great replacement, and it kind of satisfies that sweet tooth a little bit. If you're used to drinking sodas, get Zevia. If you drink energy drinks, there's plenty of energy drinks out there. Most of them don't have sugar anymore. Most of them are sweetened with sucralose. And what you don't want to do is buy into this keto consumerism push right now. You don't need exogenous ketones. You don't need apple cider vinegar gummies. You don't need to drink bulletproof coffee. In fact, if you drink coffee, drink it black, maybe a little bit of sweet drops, which is a stevia-based sweetener that won't kick you out of ketosis. Because if you're trying to do intermittent fasting, you do a bunch of heavy cream in your coffee, that's going to break your fast. So if you absolutely have to in the very beginning, use a tiny bit of heavy cream, just enough to get you by. Use some of those sweet drops. And then try to work your way to either black coffee or just black with the sweet drops. That's not going to hurt you a bit. The stevia doesn't spike your blood sugar. You're going to be just fine. And you'll find that once you start getting away from the sugar and everything, your taste buds change. And like you can really enjoy the taste of coffee without having to put a ton of sweetener in it. It's going to taste really good to you. And once your taste buds start changing, you're going to enjoy a lot of the foods and the really good ingredients. You can make really delicious foods with simple ingredients once you give up all the crap. But anyway, I got off on a tangent there, but yeah, you don't need the extra stuff. If people are trying to sell you all that, they're doing exactly that. They're trying to sell you something, because you don't need exogenous ketones. You don't need apple cider vinegar gummies. Apple cider vinegar is good. It helps regulate your appetite. It helps lower your blood sugar. But just put a little splash in your electrolyte drink. Which brings me to the fourth point that I wanted to make about electrolytes. Electrolytes are something that you're going to need. And you're going to need them every day. The reason being, you're going to lose a lot of water weight the first week. And if you've heard about the keto flu, which is one of the side effects, which is why a lot of people, I would say most people, quit keto, it's because you're losing a lot of water. And with the water goes the minerals, the sodium, the magnesium, the potassium in your body goes with the water. So you become dehydrated, which is why you feel like you got the flu. But it's totally preventable if you're properly hydrated. If you haven't seen my video on how to make your own electrolytes, you can buy electrolytes. And in fact, I've got links to them because it's a lot easier for some people to do, and they'd just rather have it in a pack on the go. But I'm pretty budget conscious. I like to save money on things like that. And so I came up with a recipe for it that's about a third of the price of what you pay for those packs. So I'll link that up top there, so you can see how to make your own electrolytes, but they are essential. And I mentioned the water weight you're going to lose in the first week. My recommendation to anybody that I help is that you do not look at the scale. Because what's going to happen, you're going to lose a lot of weight the first week, and then it's going to slow down. But your body is healing itself. Your body's rebuilding muscle. I know you've always heard that muscle weighs more than fat thing. And it's true. So when your body is in the rebuilding process, you're going to be in ketosis, but you're probably not going to start burning fat for fuel until the third or maybe the fourth week even. Could be after that. But to make sure you're on the right track, you just want to get some ketone strips and check to make sure you're in ketosis. Now this will work for about the first 4 to 6 weeks. After that, you don't need them anymore. You can use Keto Mojo after that to check your blood, but your body pushes ketones out of the body for the first short time when you're on keto. And that's when you can check it to make sure you're in ketosis. And I'll put links to all these things I'm talking about down below. You're not going to see me put any exogenous ketone links or ACV gummy links or any crap like that. But these are just the things that I think will help you when you first get started to make sure you're doing it right. And I'm always here to answer questions. I read all my comments and everything on these videos. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm here to help you. I want you to succeed on this journey. There is nothing better to me than hearing success stories and people that I'm able to help out and achieve their health goals the way I've achieved mine. That's what keeps me going. That's what keeps me making these videos. The other thing I would recommend is a glucose monitor. And if you check your glucose an hour after eating and 2 hours after eating to make sure your blood sugar's not spiking, if you're doing some of the sweeteners, some of the fat bombs, keto desserts, things like that, just check it and make sure how it affects your blood sugar. Because you only want your blood sugar to really spike, and it's not going to spike a whole lot, but it will spike some while you're eating. You just don't want it to spike between meals. And I'll cover all this on another video, or you can research it on your own about insulin resistance and insulin response, blood sugar. But the less insulin resistant you are, the better. When your insulin starts functioning the way that it should, your body's healing itself, and you're able to lose weight if that's your goal, reverse health conditions if that's your goal. The more you can do the intermittent fasting and don't eat between meals, the better it's going to work and the faster it's going to work. So the first thing you got to do is change your mind. The second thing you got to do is get rid of some of that food that you have in the house that's hanging around. Because let's face it, if it's in the house, it's a temptation. You're probably going to eat it. And like I said, if you have to slowly work into that, slowly work into it. Don't go broke trying to do keto. You can do keto on hot dogs and tuna. Just buy the best quality you can. If that's the best quality you can, do it. The third thing you got to do is change your food. And again, any questions, please leave me a comment down there. And I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. The fourth thing you need to do to start your keto diet for the new year is make sure you get electrolytes, get some ketone strips, and a glucose monitor. I would add in blood pressure myself, because if you didn't see my first keto in the car video, then you may not know that that's why I started doing keto, is because my blood pressure was to a dangerous level. And once I figured out that that could be healed, and I also lost weight as a result that I needed to lose but didn't realize I needed to lose, which is probably how I lowered the blood pressure in the first place. But definitely electrolytes, ketone strips, And if you're doing some of the fat bombs and desserts, that glucose monitor will help. These things are all super cheap. And the fifth and most important, or maybe the second most important thing after you change your mind, is to just do it. That's Nike's tagline, and it means more than anything. A lot of people get this analysis paralysis, like I want to learn everything I can about keto before I get started, and then I'm going to start it. And then guess what? A holiday comes up. Well, I'm going to start it after this holiday. Well, guess what? There's another holiday coming, and another holiday coming after that, and another holiday coming after that. If you're waiting on something, your why is not strong enough. You haven't changed your mind. If you have changed your mind, just do it. Jump right in and get started. I'm going to be here to help you. I've already told you, if you leave me a comment, I'm going to answer it. I'm going to answer any questions you have. I will help you. And my goal is to make sure you succeed, to change your life like I've changed mine. So just do it. Jump in there and do it. The only person that fails is the person that never tried. If you're trying keto, you try on keto. If you want it to be successful, you just do it. And I just want to encourage you, you can do this. If you've changed your mind and you're ready, you can do this. If you get rid of all that junk food, you can do this. If you know what to eat to put you into ketosis where your body will start burning its own fat and healing itself, you can do this. If you do your electrolytes and you check your ketones to make sure you're in ketosis and you don't feel like crap because you're dehydrated, because your body's getting rid of all the minerals, you got to replace them. And if you do that, you can do this. And you can do this, but you just got to do it. And your future is created by what you do today in the kitchen. If you're going to do it tomorrow, you're never going to do it. Just do it. Start right now and get those results that you want. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody can make you do it. You got to have it up here and you got to have it in here. And when you have that, you're going to get it done and you're going to be successful. And I know you can do it. I hope this video helps you get off to a good start this new year. I believe it's going to be your best year ever. And I'm here to help you with whatever you need. And if you know somebody that's thinking about starting keto, share this video with them. Maybe it'll help them in some way. We're a good community here, and we're here to help each other. And we can all spread this message together. But we have to spread the message. And we have to help each other along the way. So I hope that helps you. I hope you have the happiest new year ever. I know I can help you with your keto journey along the way. Hope you enjoy my recipes. Thank y'all so much for watching. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in the next video.